Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to take a look in this Soulforge, tell you what's good and bad in there, and is this first one ever of this new type Soulforge as well, where we got a time limit on the troops that are there, and they rotate quicker than normal. It'll be interesting to look at that. Also going to show you a really cool new Mythic raid boss team and a Underspire team too. But first of all, let's take a look at this weekly event troop, the Lapina Charlatan. What do you do? It's only 10 mana cost, which is pretty low. Steals looks like magic, half magic plus 1 attack from an enemy, and shifts it to my magic. Okay, so it doesn't look like she's actually normally when you steal something like that, you take it away from them and give it to yourself. This is saying she steals the attack from an enemy and shifts it to her magic instead. So it sounds like she's not going to actually gain the attack, but she will gain magic, meaning she'll steal even more attack next time and shift it to her magic. So she keeps on stealing more and more attack. That's sort of terrible. Like, really terrible, because you've got to do that several times for it to be effective. And if you've got something like a web spinner, which uses the same colours, blue and green, you're automatically going to get like triple skull damage and things like that from web spinner with the traits. Yeah, she's a little bit rubbish. Unless the traits are somewhat amazing, and they're not. I'm going to give her an absolutely, really unbelievably rubbish. I was going to give her 2 out of 10. I'm going to be really generous and just say 3 out of 10. But yeah, as ever though, get it to Mythic level if you can. May as well pick it up anyway. It's a free troop effectively, even though she might be sitting in the rubbish bin and never used in the entire game. But never mind. Pick her up anyway. Anyway, I was at a Japanese garden looking at the koi pond. And the man there pointed out the A koi, the B koi, and C. But said, don't be fooled by that last one. That's the decoy. The decoy. The fake one. Do you see? Yeah, I'll see myself out. Alright, so with, with that, we'll go to the Soulforge. Right, what's going on? Weapons fast. Same as ever, I'm not going to go over all the ones that are here all the time during my Soulforge extra video. And don't get the Jewel of Mischief from here. Get it from the Raid Boss shop. Much better to get it that way rather than spending your hard-earned diamonds, celestials, and other stuff. But what does it do? It deals damage to the first 2 enemies boosted by Pan's Veil ally. So basic damage with a boost. Nothing special, but we'll get it from the Raid Boss shop anyway. As ever, all these ones are in the... They're here all the time. They're in my Soulforge extra video, so check that out if you want to see what they're all about. Sleigh Bells does magic plus 2 damage to an enemy and a random enemy, and steal 1 magic from the enemy. Would have been a bit better if it stealed more magic than that. Nothing great. It's got Peaceful as its upgrade, which means it's gonna silence the first enemy, which means they can't collect mana or cast spells, but still nothing too special about that. Radiant Jewel does damage to an enemy based on your magic, boosted by Pan's Veil allies. Then create a mix of 6 green and yellow gems for each Pan's Veil ally. Uses red and purple, creates green and yellow. So make sure you've got at least a couple of Pan's Veil allies that use green or yellow to make the most of all that juicy mana. And otherwise you're just doing it for nothing. And there's no point in that. So yeah, it can be good. And it does have Peaceful as well, one of the better upgrades. Again, silences the first enemy, meaning they can't cast spells or collect mana. Yasmin's Pride. Check it out. Very good indeed. Eliminate all armor from an enemy. Bang. All armor gone. And then give all allies magic plus 1 life boosted by the armor eliminated. Where this sort of weapon comes in mega handy is in the events. A bit like Raid Boss and other ones where the boss can get absolutely, or a troop can get absolutely stacks and stacks of armor. And you can just take it all away in one single hit and then get a load of life back. I mean, just say, for example, someone had 900 armor on a really high level of an event. You just use that, bang, all that armor's gone, effectively 900 damage. And you get over 300 back, because you get the boost will be 300, the boost ratio is 3 to 1, and then you get the standard amount of life back on top of that as well, based on your magic. So very, very good indeed. The Glaive of Many Goats. What a weird name, but hey, it is what it is. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by wild folk allies, then create a mix of 6 green and yellow gems for each wild folk ally. So same as before, this one uses red and brown, generates green and yellow. So make sure you've got a couple of wild folk allies in your team that use green or yellow. Otherwise you're making that mana for a laugh. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And that's what you're not there for. You're there to create mana for team members that use it. Loot of the Veil. Kind of the anti-Pan's Veil weapon in a way. Remove all green gems. That's the weapon, that's the colour of they tend to like the most. Then deal magic based damage to an enemy boosted by gems removed. And if the enemy is from Pan's Veil, or if the battle is in Pan's Veil, deal double damage. And same as ever with these things, you may not use it ever, but it's one of the cheapest ones to get at a mere 75 diamond. And that gives you another weapon from a kingdom which can eventually help your power levels just rise, and it's an easy way to get another weapon, so always good to pick them up if you can. Doomed Rod. Create 4 blue gems plus 1 gem per tempering level, then give magic plus 1 armor to all green allies. And if the enemy has a doom, eliminate all armor from a random enemy. So a few things have to be in place to make this work properly well, like really well. First of all, to make the most of that armor, you need to be in an all green team. Secondly, you need to be against a team that doesn't deal true damage, otherwise that's not going to do you a lot of good. Thirdly, the enemy has to have a doom to benefit from that last part of the spell. So, you know, this was like a doomed weapon on the Tower of Doom event, so they don't become that relevant sometimes, unless the team you're fighting happens to have a doom. And also with this, because it creates blue gems, but it's a green-based weapon, then you need to have one of your other members of your team, obviously, that uses blue. Because you're going to create a load of blue with this, and the higher the tempering level, the more blue you create. And it's a insignificant amount of blue at the beginning, like unlikely to get you a match, but fully tempered up, it's a huge amount of blue, likely to give you not only a load of blue, but an extra turn at the same time. So yeah, kind of very bad on the no tempering level basis, but really, really good when fully tempered up. But only if your team works with it, i.e. you've got a very powerful troop in your team that uses blue. Prism Staff. Choose a colour. Remove all gems of that colour and deal magic-based scatter damage boosted by the gems removed. Now, that removal gems of that colour is of no effect. There's taken away. But it doesn't mean to say it's always bad. It would have been better if it's with full effect, but it's not. Just got to deal with it. That's just taking them away. Can be used to stop a enemy from collecting that colour. Can also be used to maybe make a colour match for you. Quite often there'll be ways of making some gem matches or even an extra turn by removing certain colours. So you can actually use it that way as well, but either way it's not that great a weapon. And what else have we got anymore? Yeah, we got Daisy's Cudgel. Explodes magic plus 1 green gems, grants a random status effect to all Pan's Veil allies, then summons a Pan's Veil troop. I do like these explodey summony weapons. They're good as a beginner and they're good in the game later on as well. And they're good as a defense weapon as well. Mana gen, status effects, summon. Very much a lot of good things to like about that. And it does have Leaf as one of its upgrades, which is a Leaf Storm. So better if you got like a couple of green using troops on your team, because it doesn't use green itself. And Leaf is a green storm. What else we got? Tooth of the Wild, another explodey summony weapon. Explodes magic plus 1 green gems, grants a random status effect to all wild folk allies, then summons a wild folk troop. And again, also has Leaf as one of its upgrades, as well as Hemorrhage. There's, a lot of weapons are sort of better or worse by how good their upgrades are sometimes, so do pay attention to the upgrades because they are very important actually to a weapon's effectiveness. Lost Chant. Another explodey summony weapon. Explode magic plus 1 green gems again. Grant a random status effect to all wild folk allies, then summon a wild folk troop. Do like this one because of the fact that it's peaceful. This is what I'm saying about weapons are better or worse based on their upgrades. Peaceful makes the first enemy silenced. They can't collect mana and they can't cast spells. Really, really good when you want to make that first troop quiet, shall we say. What else we got? We have a Hair Splitter. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by green allies and wild folk allies. So a basic weapon with a boost. Alright, let's jump onto the troops now. As ever, if you're a newer player or just still missing players or troops from the game, have a little gander through these. Summoning stones, see if there's anybody there that's really good in particular. You're mainly looking out for goblins, looking out for empowered troops. Empowered troops are the ones that start with full mana, super useful. And goblins always get an extra turn, and even as a newer player, they can just make your team tick. But nobody's special in there this time around, so it is what it is. Alright, so let's take a look at this, the troops then. Same as before, any troops that are here on a regular weekly basis are in my Soulforge extra video, so you can check that out if you want to see what they're all about. It is minorly out of date actually, because I haven't actually included things like Maelstrom, Dagonath since that, so I may have to do that, an update on that at some point. Right, but let's start off with the mythics and have a look. We've got this new time limit thing. Does this mean I've got to do a midweek Soulforge update thing? Sort of good but annoying at the same time. I might have to do a midweek Soulforge thing just because these troops are going to change around halfway through the week. Have to see. Well, not halfway through the week, after 4 days. So that'll be 4 days of this one and 3 days of the next rotation. Anyway, Vernalis gives magic +3 attack to the first 2 allies, gives the same amount of life to the 2 weakest allies, and gives 10 magic to the 2 strongest allies. So it can be really good in certain teams. All that attack, extra life, and magic, if that all them things sort of align to just work for the way your team works, then that can be really good. And he's just got one of the best traits in the game for getting easy entangles. Entangle and Fairy Fire a random enemy when matching green gems. That's all you got to do. Match green, and he uses green, and you're going to entangle and Fairy Fire a random enemy. Would have kind of preferred it in a way if it was curse and entangle a random enemy, just because impervious troops being up top sort of thing, countering his entangle, and does get bonus green as well, but still a very useful troop in the right team, even though he's mostly overlooked in the game. Will of Nisha, yeah, she's not that great. Yeah, steal 3 magic from all enemies, so she takes it away from them, weakening the power of their spells, and adds it to her own, and then deals magic +1 damage to them. So if she gets to cast again, because she's stolen that magic, her spell gets more and more powerful every time. And she can linger around a bit like a bad smell as well, because she has spell block, reducing damage from spells by 50%. I mean, the trouble though is, she's also got like all purple allies gain 1 to all stats at the start of each turn, which includes herself. She does get more powerful every turn. So even though she's massively regarded as one of the worst mythics in the game in general, because of that spell block and the essence of magic, she does often end up being the last one there. So she becomes a bit of a pain to kill. So is she as bad as most people think? And for the most part, she is, but she's not entirely useless. Just nearly useless. Speaking of nearly useless, flippin' heck. This thing, Gargantor, what the heck? Check how bad this thing is. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by all allies and enemies killed. Yes, boosted by all allies and enemies killed. Allies. So to get a boost, you have to have allies on your team die. Right. And you can only kill enemies to get the boost as well, which he's not really helping with because his damage is completely and utterly rubbish. Compare this to just so many other mythics, even legendaries in the game, and he's just jank. But he does have Impervious, which now is easily countered by Curse, and Dark Fury, the last trait, often the best one, gains 8 attack and magic when he takes damage. So you have to have him taking damage to actually get any sort of boost to make his spell a bit better. And the boost ratio is only times 15. So say you'd killed 2 enemies, or you lost an enemy and an ally. The boost is only 30. Still only do, like in my case, 91 damage. He's rubbish. Gargantuan load of junk. That's what he is. And Abinicia. Oh my crikey, what a rubbish bunch of mythics we got this time around. Just the relic's changing after 4 days. Explode all gems of a chosen colour and summon an Infernal King. That's your lot from Abby. She's one of the oldest mythics in the game. I remember picking her up really early when I first started playing. So she's been around as old as she looks, basically. And nothing special about her traits, even though in the very early parts of the game that Queen's Grace did seem good at the time, but it's not anymore. Right, so yeah, but explode all gems with a summon. Yeah, awful. Right, so that's them. Let's have a quick look now at the legendaries. Remember, these troops are going to rotate after 4 days, so we may have to do a midweek quick Soulforge video. But it'd be fun though, something new to add to the roster. But Spring Imp, first legendary, does scatter damage, magic +3, entangle all enemies, and if an enemy dies, gain 8 magic. Yeah, so you're relying on luck whether the magic is enough to actually kill. Well, the damage is enough to kill them sometimes, because scatter damage is a random amount to spread out between all random enemies, so you do have to rely on that. But she does gain 8 magic on green gem matches, and bonus green from green gem matches. So yeah, you get some green, and that scatter damage can actually go up really, really quickly. Get her in a green looping team, or something that creates stacks of green, and yeah, that scatter damage can absolutely fly through the roof. Forest Guardian. All beasts start with 50% mana, which is a great start anyway, but transform purple gems to skulls and brown to green, and allied beasts gain a barrier. So yeah, pretty good in the right team. The Widow Queen. Sacrifice an ally. Yes, an ally. That's not very nice. Then deal roughly half your magic, half magic +1 damage to all enemies, but it's boosted by the sacrificed troop's life, and then summon a random Zal-Karai troop. So you kill someone, do a bunch of damage, boosted by their life, and then summon someone else in their place. So it sounds a bit weird, but it can actually work in certain ways. And so they have Web Weaver. Web a random enemy on 4 or 5 gem matches, and Dark Ancestry is semi-handy as well. She's not as awful as she kind of initially sounds. And there's one at the bottom, wasn't there? Foxglove. Really like this. Create an entangle gem when my turn begins, as well as being immune to entangle is handy. But I like the spell a lot. Choose one. Convert blue gems to green and red to skulls, or convert brown gems to green and purple to skulls. So 2 different options to change something to skulls and something to green, which is, I think, actually pretty cool. Cunning vines indeed. Right, and so these are going to change after 4 days. Oh, we've nearly forgot this thing. The dragon on rotation is Meteoridans. If you're still chasing Stellarix, for example, and this is the last dragon you need, probably worth that extra Dragonite to just guarantee you get it without any more frustration of duplicates, but it's entirely your choice. But I would absolutely do that if it was the last dragon I needed on my path to get in a Stellarix. So up to you, it is there if you need it. But it is there all week as well. It's not one of these ones that's disappearing after, or being changed after 4 days. So who gets my Mythic of the week? Let's take a look. Well, it's certainly not going to be... It's definitely not going to be Woodenisha. It's absolutely not going to be a Gargantor. And it's not going to be Abinicia. Almost by default, it's going to be Venalis. Venalis, it's not amazing. It's certainly not essential. Just because something gets my Mythic of the week doesn't make it a essential craft. It's just like the best out of the ones that were here, but it's still a excellent way of entangling the enemy, so really good against skull-based teams, and also gives attack, increases the attack from your skulls at the same time, while effectively hopefully making the enemy useless by making them entangled. So good in the right team, but far from essential. Now onto the raid boss team. Now you must use the event captain Ariosa in your team to get that ×2 magic and ×2 score. It is for this event only, but she absolutely must be in your team, and you get her from the shop at tier 2. So you buy tier 1 first, that's all well and good. You get the potion of enchantment, enchants all allies at start of battle, again for this event only, as well as some other bits and bobs. Tier 2, you also get the potion of explosion, exploding 4 gems at the start of battle, very handy for a nice quick start. And that's where you pick up Ariosa as well. She does damage to an enemy, and if they're a boss, deal 3 to 5 times damage based on my ascensions, and silence the first enemy. And she has those traits as well, including, of course, Godslayer. But if you're a newer player to the game, don't worry too much about getting that, because we're not going to be too concerned about doing skull damage. It's more about doing that extra damage via the spell. So if you can get her to mythic level, it is definitely a better thing to do. And there's 2 ways to do that: either buy tier 1 and tier 2, then back out and use some orbs of ascension to get her to mythic level that way. Other than that, you're going to have to buy enough tiers to get her to mythic level just by having enough copies of her in the first place. So you can do it that way. But again, it's not actually essential to get out to mythic level. It just makes it that much easier. But you want to get tier 3 as well if you can, just to pick up another weapon. I mean, you get like a potion of rejuvenation as well. Legendary ingots, more sigils, more troops, more trait stones, and you get a weapon as well. So it's not an essential weapon, but it's another weapon. It's free stuff just for playing the game with your stuff. So you may as well get it. So let us now take a look at the team. I haven't actually started yet because I just want to see something quickly, because I do have to upgrade Ariosa first, and I'm going to do it by Ascension Orbs. Let's have a mini battle with this new thing. You get so used to doing things a certain way, and you get this, and it's like, oh my goodness, it seems like a bit weird. But for me, square to bring up the thing, and we've got 61 orbs of them. So yeah. See, initially this doesn't seem as intuitive to me, so that's done. Can now press triangle to go to them, and you can do unlock all and do it by stuff you've already got, but I've got loads of orbs of wisdom, so I'm going to do 3 of these, because on the third one I'll save a celestial, which you still need for certain things. And it shows you I'm getting unlocked one at a time. Okay, and that's that done. Circle to go back, and what else haven't I done yet? I haven't done the... Got to press L1 for the level where we use our souls. Right. Okay. Once you get used to pressing them buttons, I suppose, to do that, it will be okay. But just seems a little bit clunky compared to what we were used to. But anyway, there she is. We've got her to mythic level, and she is in the team. And here is the rest of the team. Again, no mythic. You can do something like this. A Starflower, King Selenis, Ariosa, and the weapon, Tooth of the Wild. Now, this is actually really cool for a lot of reasons. For a start, we get a lot of different bonuses from this. You get the standard kingdom bonuses and guild bonuses, of course, but we have this Maester of Air, 4 unique yellow troops, plus 12 armor for that. We get a King of Goats, 4 unique Pansvel troops bonus. This will vary upon things you've done in the game, though. Things like team bonus 5 here, like 4 unique Pansvel troops. Again, huge bonuses from that. And 4 unique Wildfolk troops. So a lot of good bonuses from this. So let's go and have a look why this team just works for this in the early stages. And we'll show why we'll swap Starflower out a little bit later in the game. But Tooth of the Wild, this explodes magic +1 green gems, grants a random status effect to all Wildfolk allies. That is the whole team. Then summons a Wildfolk troop. So nice explodey summoning weapon there. But Bard, really good for this. Immune to silence. All the yellow allies gain 1 to all stats at the start of each turn. So that's the entire team getting 1 to all stats every single turn. That is really, really cool. So that is a good thing about that. Mage Lord, we can have Serendipity, we can have Anti-Magic Sphere, we can have Tactician, gain 3 magic at the start. We can have, was that right, that Mage Lord? Yeah. Gain 2 magic if in last position. Mentor, all allies gain 1 magic. Tree of Knowledge, gain enchantment matching green, which we do that to charge our team. And all mystics gain 2 magic and life when an enemy dies. So yeah, some nice boosts there, but really like this. All yellow allies gain 1 to all stats at the start of each turn. So the team, the way it's going to work at the beginning is going to be very straightforward, because Starflower does a damage to all enemies. She's going to just wipe out the enemies at the start really, really quickly, which is nice, because we're going to get a nice 50% mana start on all our troops, thanks to King Selenis, and he can actually chip in with some splash damage and finish them off, should they have the cheek to be lingering around after Starflower's done her damage. But she does work further down the order as well, because I really like the way that she summons a random Fae at the same time, and also has a 20% chance to transform a random enemy to a pixie. And her Fae Link is really, really good as well. So all around, she's just an amazing troop for me. Really, really good. Do like Starflower. Like we say, King Selenis gives us that nice 50% start on Wildfolk, so he can chip in with that splash damage as well. Ariosa can finish people off with that extra damage. Remember, you get a damage boost because she's the event captain effectively. And we got the weapon here exploding, giving us status effects and a summon at the same time. So lots to like about that. So the banner for this I haven't actually set yet. We obviously want it on +2 yellow. Do we not use anything? Hang on, look, red, yellow, purple, red, green, brown. There's something we're not using. Blue. Anything with blue at the bottom. That'll do. That'll do just fine because it's green for Ariosa. So I do like the way this uses all yellow and then just one different colour each as well. Very, very handy indeed. Right, so this is going to be the start team, and basically when the raid boss comes along, we can actually change Starflower to another troop, which we'll show when we come to it. But let's just do a few battles at these early stages. This is going to be really quick. Half mana start, there's explosion, there's Starflower, there's death. Going to be crazy fast at the beginning. Let's just do a few more battles, not going to do tons of these earlier ones when they were as straightforward as this. Grab some yellow if you didn't get charged up straight away. Starflower will be ready to do magic. Kaboosh them all out of there. Remember, you're getting +1 to all stats on all your team every single turn. That's mental. There you go. Fantastic stuff. Let's just do one more, then we'll jump forward a bit. These are crazy, super duper, mega easy. And over in a jiffy. And done. I've jumped forward to when the boss starts appearing. I see Dagonath. Y'all see him? He's there. Anyway. Kills an enemy, then creates 4 blue mana potion gems. So can create a lot of blue for himself, which will help him get charged up again. So make sure you get rid of him. But the team does vary upon how many blue enemies are in the team. Done a battle earlier, just a minute ago, and there was only one blue enemy. This time you got all of them using blue. So they are actually mana blocking, obviously, Dagonath on that blue. So be wary of that, because if he gets first dibs on that blue, for example, he could get charged up really quickly. So always make sure you get rid of him as fast as you can, because he can be annoying. Wait for our explosion. Wait for our purple or the yellow, and wipe out. So this team is still like doing really good on getting rid of the enemy at the beginning, and you can use Ariosa here. Remember, she does all that damage to the boss, and he may be submerged. Even if your Starflower, for example, isn't wiping out obviously Dagonath at the beginning, you can use your Ariosa to finish him off. So go with that again. And looking for some yellow. Wipe everyone out. Use Ariosa to finish off. Kaboom! King's Lennis would have done the job as well. Whatever works for you will vary upon player to player based on your stats in the game. But we can go about this a slightly different way in a minute, because they will start surviving in a minute, some of these other troops. But yeah, this is like a regular thing at the moment. Very easy indeed. Cast Starflower, cast Ariosa to get rid of the bit of damage remaining on the boss. Or King Silenus, your choice. Do you think he's maybe feeling a little bit left out? What? We didn't have any purple or yellow. Starflower is shocked. So when you get to this sort of situation here, like I've got here, don't take any chances. If you've got a chance to do this, just get rid of him straight away. Do not risk him getting charged up. So kind of glad that happened in a way. But yeah, still going to be nice and quick and straightforward. And because the Tooth of the Wild at the bottom is ready to cast as well, because they're posting the enchantment in no time at all, even if you have to cast Starflower twice, still going to be quick. Again, we'll just make sure we get rid of Matey Boy, and let's just do that, get rid of them, and get rid of them. They would have burnt to death the next round anyway, because they were actually on fire. It's not a nice way to go. And see what we've got here. Ooh, not so yellow, but that's going to get exploded. But there you go. She does her damage. If you feel like you've got absolute stacks of time, you can obviously do this. Oh, they're stealthy in the middle. That's a bit annoying. But we can do it that way. Yes. Oops. Get my buttons right in a minute. Again, see, don't take the risk. See, I left it, and look, see, that's why you don't risk it for a biscuit. Get rid of Icy Face straight away. Right, I'll do this one, then I'll just show how we can play around with this team a little bit if you so desire. There you go, Starflower's up again straight away. Very fire effect. Getting rid of that one in double quick time. Let's target Mr. Submerged with that. It doesn't do him any favours whatsoever. I mean, there's no point doing this weapon right here. We may as well get our King Selena's up, but he's up next round anyway, so we will get something else. Get a bit more purple for Starflower in case we need to cast her again. All is well, and we can use that splash damage to finish them off. Right, let's show another way we can go about this. I mean, you could. There's a Capricorn, not Capricorn. This one is also a boss slayer, a god slayer, so you could actually have him in the team instead of Starflower if you like, to be a way to go about it. Especially if you're a newer player, just extra lot of damage on that boss. Make sure you get rid of the boss and then just work your way through them using Arios's extra damage, King Selena's splash damage and damage you get, and managing from the Tooth of the Wild. But we do also have this one here. That'd be a good way to go about it. Lots of damage to all. I mean, we'll get charged up pretty quickly. Dealing damage to all enemies and convert 5 yellow gems to barrier gems with that extra chance of the extra turns. Let's see if that makes mincemeat. Obviously it will do because it does more damage to all. And then the theory would be exactly the same on finishing off that troop at the bottom there. So it's obviously not got charged up as quick, so it uses far more mana cost, but we can still get that splash damage there. And then we can use them to finish off. See, I kind of prefer the Starflower thing in a way. And the enchantment means it will get there. It does depend upon how far you go in a way. If you go a lot further, so you're guaranteed you have to cast Starflower twice, and you've only got to cast this once, then this may happen a lot quicker. And obviously we're getting that bardic inspiration as well, so that damage is going up by 1 around every single time as well, which is rather nice. And if this gets charged up, that can fast track that dragon lot to do that huge damage to all, and you don't have to worry about the Godslayer taking care of Icy Dagonath. Right, let's make this the last one. A couple of cool ways to go about this raid boss team, or raid boss enemy, whichever way you want to look at it. And look at that, I got charged up really quick that time. No need to even collect that 5-match purple there, but there it is, there's the raid boss team. Now onto the Underspire team. And we can use a similar team as what we just did for raid boss, but we don't obviously need that boss killer troop anymore, so we can swap them out and bring in something like Luna instead. Explodes a random gem when matching yellow gems, which we do a lot because it's for our whole team. All the team uses yellow and deals damage to all enemies, and either inflicts 1 to 2 status effects on all enemies, and that can be the quick kill things like Death Mark and Terror as well, or grant 1 to 2 status effects to all allies, which can be very useful as well. So damage to all there. Extra damage to all from Starflower, as well as the chance to fairify a random enemy, which means the power or the damage from Luna and Starflower is going to be exaggerated, even more damage, and she does damage to all enemies as well, boosted by ally and enemy Fae, and she summons a random Fae as well, and could change one of the enemy to a pixie if they were to survive. So you got all these using yellow. Everyone uses a different colour: green, purple, red, brown. You can have King Selena's backing up with some damage and giving the team a 50% start with mana. And we've got this one here with that lovely bardic inspiration. All yellow allies gain 1 to all stats at the start of each turn, which is the whole team. And it does that lovely explode green gems, gives a random status effect to all wildfolk allies. With a summon as well, so we've got a summon there and mana gem, we've got a summon there, and we've got damage to all from these two and splash damage there. Now you can swap in if you like, depends upon how far you go into the Underspire. Narcissus here. Huge damage to all, really good, and still 4 life when matching yellow gems. And it can work up top as well because it reflects 35% of skull damage and reduce damage from spells by 25%. And it's going to get that 1 to all stats as well because it's obviously yellow. You could swap Luna out for that and still have the backup of 2 summons as well from Tooth of the Wild or Starflower. But the banner for this, I didn't check that. Have I done the banner? No, there's still one. The same one will still work. +2 yellow, +1 green, -1 blue. So yeah. Let's do a few battles, show how this works. No Potion of Enchantment, remember in this, so we still get that 50% mana starts. We're looking for yellow, we got that there. 1 short, but we'll take that just because it's there, thank you very much. And in the early stages, in fact for quite a while, we'll wipe out fairly easily because Starflower can get easily charged at the same time. Always grab your free lantern from Matey Boy. Got an Underspire guide coming later on this week as well. It's done and finished. Just got to schedule it and get it out there. But a very in-depth Underspire guide going through the entire week. Every single day. And showing how you go about it on a day-to-day basis. Where to use your lanterns. How to save gems, basically. By navigating the Underspire in the correct way. Because there is a knack to it. It's not all just luck. What did I get blue for? I was daydreaming and got blue and I didn't need to. Oi. Get off my yellow. Any green? No. Oh, come on. Stop messing around. Now we have a choice. Go on, Starflower. Do your flowery, starry stuff. Right. That won't happen all the time. It can't. It is not possible. Yeah, we'll have some of that. Ooh, bonus whackage there. So yeah, this will be good. Like we got those, we got a submerge effect there across the whole team, thanks to Luna. And obviously on the more difficult stages where things get a little bit more tricky. Let's do it that way actually. Lots of purple and a skull bash. Oh, 2. Starflower beat Luna to the punch there. Then those status effects can really come in handy. Alright, let's make this the last couple of battles. Very straightforward early stages on this. Look at that, he got up first that time. Should we do this? Nah, let's get that first. It's quicker. Because King's Lennis is more of a finisher in this kind of team. Or if somebody gets submerged or something like that, that's when he really comes in handy. If we cast him then basically somebody would still have survived, which basically means we still have to charge our Starflower or Luna anyway. Efficiency is key sometimes. And let's do that. And let's give Starflower some glory. What that'll do for this video. I think it's going to be an okay Underspire, I think, to get through. But there it is, there's the video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button, it really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. What? Bye for now. Voice went weird at the end.